In this step, we're going to discuss footer links. Now, footer links are something that there's quite a bit of debate about in the SEO world, but I read a blog post recently that that talked about Google Ventures, and Google Ventures is they invest in companies basically, and so if we have a look at the portfolio of sites that Google is investing in, helping with and working with, and look at sort of what they're doing on their footer links, and that's what this blog post suggested to have a look at, you can see that some of these sites have significant numbers of footer links. Some of them don't, but some of them do, and so therefore it doesn't seem that it necessarily would be something that would harm your site. Otherwise, Google would have been taking it off of these companies' sites. But again, what you want to really always think about is whether it's useful to the user. So for instance, this site, Relay Rides, something about renting cars, and then if you scroll down, and then get to the footer, you see that in this grey section they've got a huge number of links in their footer. And so they've got sort of information there about how to get started, learn more, support. And if you think about it, it kind of is really useful. You know, I mean, you've got the navigation menu up here, which has kind of hardly anything in it and is obviously just going to take people to the most important pages. But down the bottom, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is really what I'm looking for. And this is not, I suppose, something you want to put up the top in the navigation, but you can see how it would be helpful for people. This particular site, if we scroll down to the bottom, they've pretty much got exactly in the bottom what they've got in their navigation. And maybe those are the most important pages for them, and that's all that they really want people to look at. This site, Uber Conference, if we scroll down to the bottom, we see that they've got, you know, not a massive amount of links, but obviously they've got links in the bottom that they think would be the most useful to their users. Again, if we go to this, and these are all sites that are within this portfolio of Google Ventures. So this particular site has, again, quite a lot of links in the footer. And this is an online store. And if we go down to the footer, it's got a huge amount of links that are going to its most popular categories. So this got me really interested, and on one of my client sites I decided that we would put some footer links in. We haven't even had time to make them look nice, but we've put these footer links in, and fairly soon after doing this they actually moved up quite significantly in the rankings. So look, I'm not sure whether it was that or whether it was just all the other things that we'd been doing prior to that, but it certainly didn't harm them by putting these links in the footers. And you know, and these links here are actually helpful. They're not ones that are in the top because in the top you've kind of got, you know, the really basic things that you need. But down here it's got, okay, well, what specifically am I looking for, and what specific suburb am I looking for? So recently in my website I've added some links to the footer of mine. So I don't have any of this information in my top navigation. It's very limited sort of what I've got up there, but down here I've got, you know, small business, local, e-commerce, SEO service. And then in the, if we have a look at the Hope Organic site, and in the footer there, putting links to the various product categories. So it's definitely something that I would recommend to think about on your site. Go and have a look, see what sort of links that you've got in your footer. Are you directing the people to the most important pages on your site, maybe pages that they can't get to from the navigation? pages that they may be very interested in, especially if they're scrolling down, because one of the biggest things that people tend to do when they come to a website is scroll down to the bottom and then scroll back up again. So if they scroll down to the bottom and see, oh, actually that's what I was looking for, then maybe they'll go straight to that page. Now, how do you actually create these footer links? Well, I suppose it's going to depend on whether you can create them yourself or whether you need to just contact your web developer and say, hey, in my footer, can you put a link, on this particular word to this particular page on my website? So for instance, for me, I've got small business SEO, which is linking through to the home page of my site, because that's what that page is really optimized for. As you can see, this is the home page, small business SEO. On this site, these links are obviously linking through on the specific product names to that particular category, which totally makes sense with e-commerce sites. So if you have a system where you're able to get in and create your own footer links and you know how to do that, great. Otherwise, contact your web developer and ask them to do that. Otherwise, if you have WordPress, then I'm just going to show you now what you might be able to do depending on what your template is. So if you go to, if you log into your WordPress site and then go to Appearance and then Menus, then you should come up with something like this, which enables you to create, like, say, a footer menu. So you should have a range of menus. So you should be able to click on the one that you want. You might have to create a menu if you don't have one and see if it enables you to create a footer menu. On my template, I've got manage locations, so I've got an option of 3 menus. So it just depends on what your system allows you to do. But you may be able to create a footer menu, which is then as simple as coming in, having a look at ticking the ones that you want to go on there and putting them there. So for instance, the small business SEO is actually my home page. So it didn't say small business SEO, it might say home, but you can go in here and change the navigation label so that it has something else different on there. Another option for you might be that you might be able to, in your footer, you might have footer widgets. And so if I go to widgets, so this site has got, it's got 3 footer areas where I may be able to put a custom menu that I've created. So I could, here's a custom menu, and I could go into the 3rd footer area, put that custom menu in, go, okay, which one is it that I want to go in there? And that's how you would get, I think one of these sites had that. So they're using widgets here in the bottom. They've got, there's 4 widgets there, and they've got 4 different menus that they've specifically created to put these in. So that's one option with WordPress. Another option is just to go into the menus section and create it. So that is the end of this step. So just to summarize that, there's been a lot of debate about footer links. It certainly seems that if we look at Google Ventures and the sites that they're supporting, they've got lots of different sites, some with loads of footer links, some without them, which to me indicates that it's more about the user experience, and so therefore it's more about your business and your service. But from an SEO perspective, we can certainly put some things in the footer that are going to help people to find the pages on their site, and it is going to pass, some rank to those particular pages. So if you've got pages on your site which you think are really important, that you want people to know that are there, and maybe in your navigation, like on this site where we just had services, And in the footer, we're able to put computer repairs, Apple Mac repairs, laptop repairs, PC repairs, etc. so that it gives people a more specific page on the site that they can go to. Okay, so that's the end of this step then.